The new Penguin series follows on from the events of the 2022 The Batman film starring Robert Pattinson. After the Riddler destroyed the seawall, leaving parts of Gotham City flooded and killing mob boss Carmine Falcone, Colin Farrell's Ozzy the Penguin Cobb attempts to get things back under control as the mob family he's aligned with restructures itself. One episode into the Penguin and I'm really enjoying it. After watching Agatha all along, I'm enjoying a show that has enough time per episode to have setups and payoffs, to introduce new characters and outline their personalities and motivations. And being set in a world that follows the same rules as our own, you know what's what instinctually. We all understand what a power struggle is, we all understand greed, we understand the limitations of the human body. There's no magic to bail people out of unwinnable situations. Having one central character also allows a deep dive into his motivations and history. Why does he do the things he does? Where do his loyalties lie? And what are the options available to him to change his current situation? The threats are realistic, the opportunities are understandable. It's a breath of fresh air. As you can probably tell, I'm enjoying my time with the Penguin. I'm giving episode 1 an 8 out of 10. I will admit that I got partway through and thought, maybe I should watch The Batman again to refresh my memory. It does help. I couldn't remember why the city was flooded, but you should be able to get by without having seen The Batman, as it's a pretty well done mob power struggle so far. I'm just letting you know that I rewatched The Batman after I saw episode 1 of The Penguin, so some questions I had I answered for myself with a second viewing. The acting is great so far. These actors are really selling me these characters. None of them are chewing the scenery, and they have some pretty subtle facial expressions and mannerisms that let the audience into their mind. The makeup on Colin Farrell is superb. You wouldn't recognise him if you saw him. The sets are great, especially the destroyed Iceberg Lounge. So far, there's really been nothing to complain about, which is rare for me. Normally I'm a bit of a nitpicker, but it's early days and we'll have to see if the Penguin can march into the legendary realm, or if it'll end up waddling off into obscurity. Anyway, let's get stuck into the spoilers. If you like this review, chuck us a thumbs up, or consider hitting that subscribe button. It really would mean a lot to me. If you don't like it, give us a thumbs down and let me know where I've gone wrong in the comments. I read them all and it'll help me to improve. This episode of The Penguin brought to you by Maserati. Ozzy's waddling back into the Iceberg Lounge to take care of some unfinished business. Looks great, although it wouldn't surprise me if the entire screen except for where Penguin is walking was a matte painting. So Ozzy gets his hands on some incriminating evidence and some priceless costume jewelry. Dozens of dollars worth. But he gets sprung by Alberto, Carmine's son. He's pretty quick on his feet, old Ozzy, not literally, but figuratively, and immediately goes into blowing smoke up the boss's ass mode to save his own skin. Great acting by Colin Farrell here, very subtle, nuanced performance. The lowering of the eyes, the softening of the voice. Penguin smartly uses Alberto's weaknesses against him, his drug addiction. Now he has the upper hand. Now Ozzy has the inside scoop on a new style of drug that's being imported. See, this show sets up opportunities and stakes way better than that other slop, Agatha. I know that a drug shipment is worth big dollars, but that it also brings with it an element of risk, both from the cops and from rival gangs. Penguin's playing it real smart, see? Telling the new boss what he wants to hear. Telling him about a great mob boss who used to treat the little people well, instead of hoarding all the wealth. Well, Alberto's a capricious dog and doesn't like that idea. Well, you see, Penguin, he'll play along, but only for so long. And don't call him a bitch. So Penguin kills Alberto and has a giggle to himself. I like how he uses his Face ID to get access to his phone. I was watching thinking, why doesn't he just throw Alberto's body down the stairs instead of lugging it all the way? And what do you know? He does. The writers are in my head, man. On the way back to his car, he sees some punk kids trying to steal his rims. So he starts blasting. He manages to bail one of them up, Victor. I feel like Penguin is taking pity on him because of his severe stutter. Maybe he sees a little of himself in the kid. So he orders Vic to help him lift the body into the boot of his car and uses the body as a warning to do what he says. The car ride has some interesting elements, such as Penguin obtaining the date and time of the drug shipment from Alberto's phone. He points out the lovely air freshener and mentions to Vic how he lived nearby and he and his brothers used to buy slush puppies. All elements that play into the episode later. Everything in these scenes is so well produced, it looks like a movie. Great sets, great backdrops, great props. It all looks like it cost a lot of money, and it sells that it's the shady end of a very prosperous city. Damn, they really did sell the seediness of this end of town, prostitutes and a titty flash. So it's clear to Vic and the audience that once he disposes of the body, he'll become a loose end. The exciting part is how he manages to get out of his untimely end. And here, I feel the show dropped the ball. He kind of just asked politely. At first, Ozzy is sorry, but he's got to do it. But once Vic asks again, he relents. A little too easy. Maybe have Vic offer something Oz can't get anywhere else. Knowledge of the streets or something. Surely they can come up with something better than just ambition and needing a chance. So Penguin grabs Salvatore Moroni's ring from Alberto Falcone's pinky before he disposes of the body. Penguin takes Vic into the heart of his operation, showing him how he's using the councilman's gambling debts as leverage, or blackmail if you will. They subtly reveal that the mob families are turning on each other and testing how strong each other are by performing small raids. Very clever writing. It's happening before your eyes instead of an expedition dump. Penguin then gets called in to see the heads of the family to meet face to face. Nice touch. We're getting to meet all the interested stakeholders. I like his bit about how they want to feel big, so I make myself small. I felt that during the opening scene with Alberto, averting his gaze, acquiescing to anything Alberto said, then blam! Isn't that guy from Band of Brothers? Conte? James Matteo. Sure looks like him, if only there was some way to check. So they want him to shut down the operation. Does that mean he moves, or does that mean the drops manufacturing is now someone else's business? So he brings up the score that Alberto had arranged before he went missing. That's a bit creepy with Sophia entering the scene from behind out of focus. You know this can't be good. I hate it when people's hair touches their eyelashes. Freaks me out. Anyway, Sophia wants to know if Pengy knows what happened to her brother Alberto. Of course, he plays dumb. He's no fool. Damn, she's cold. I'm a little scare-roused. I thought she had him on the ropes there with her comment about how brazen it was to claim Alberto's own drug deal as his on the day after he goes missing. But these writers, they're smart. Oz counters with the old, I didn't know you were involved either, so we're both being kept in the dark gambit, and follows up with a, here's something you didn't know finisher. Seems Sophia had no idea her brother was an addict, so now she's less certain of her own judgment of the situation. Well played. A little bit of character revealed when Oz refuses to sit in a disabled seat. He doesn't want to seem weak or play the victim. Hey, his spare car has the same air freshener. And it's a Volvo. They're boxy, but they're good. Where do I know that bird from? Ozzy's mum. Probably Law and Order. She's been on it 5 times. Well, in this show, she plays a woman who needs to take her meds, but she also seems to have direct control over Oz. They're really showing Ozzy to be a caring son, trying to get his mum out of town before the mob catch on to his misdeeds. Also shows Vic that he'll look after you if you're on his side. At first I thought he drove the Volvo over because he was hiding who he was from his mother. Like, hey ma, I'm an accountant or something. But she's the one pushing him to actually become the kingpin. So I guess it's just to lay low, maybe not draw attention from the neighbours as well as the Falcones. See, I originally thought this was just a generic pep talk like, hey man, you're an accessory after the fact to the murder of Alberto Falcone. But now on rewatching, I think he's setting up the rescue of Penguin from Sophia. I thought that was an oversight the first time around, how he just popped up out of nowhere. But now I see he's setting up the whole thing and putting the blame on Mame. It's Mr. Krabs! Excellent. On first viewing, I thought this was a failed attempt by Oz to switch side, or maybe to play both sides. But really, he was putting the blame on Mame. By giving Moroni his ring back, it implicates him in the murder of Alberto. Very clever. And of course, Moroni is going to flaunt that he got his ring back from the Falcones, and probably claim responsibility when they find out what became of Alberto. Genius. So Sophia's sus of Ozzy and is attempting to pay him a little visit. So Ozzy does a runner. One of the drawbacks of driving a purple Maserati. Is this entire chase in CG, or did they just add the weather effects? It looks a little off. Not enough to drag me out of it, but my brain was itching watching it. The old hiding in the boot of the purple Maserati trick, followed closely by the old air freshener to the eyeball trick. Very resourceful. I don't remember receiving my checks for my work as the body double on the Penguin. Those punk kids ratted him out for shooting at them when they tried to steal the wheels off his plum Maserati, and he would have got away with it if it wasn't for those pesky kids. Geez, Sophia's menacing. How do you talk to someone like that? I just want to say, yeah, you are crazy, woman. Thankfully, they're distracted by the Cadillac of cars slamming into the building outside, and its sole occupant is Alberto Falcone, in the boot, missing his pinky. Those damn Moronis! So Vic finally got that slush puppy he always wanted. This could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. What a great first episode. Set the scene up, showed us who the major players are, their relationship towards each other and towards the Penguin. It set up the stakes, showed us what the obstacles are, and just when you think things are going smoothly, another spanner gets thrown in the works. Who knows? With a few more episodes under my belt, this might become a 9 out of 10 episode. But for now, I'll keep it relatively conservative and sling it an 8 out of 10. I put off watching it because it had been a while since I saw The Batman, so I wanted to rewatch that first. Then I realised the episodes were an hour long, which makes it harder to slot one into the old schedule. A couple of times I went to put the first episode on, and as soon as I saw that 60-minute runtime, I decided there was no way I was going to be able to stay awake. How wrong I was. I never once looked at the time or checked my messaging apps. I just sat and enjoyed a thoroughly enjoyable first episode of The Penguin. Now, if you'll excuse me, I want to get stuck straight into episode 2 of The Penguin. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, please consider subscribing. I release reviews occasionally when time allows, and a thumbs up would be a big motivator for further reviews. If you didn't like it, feel free to leave a thumbs down and let me know how I can improve in the comments below. Anyway, I'm Mixie, thanks for your time, and have a good one.